We are fucking back. I am excited to be back on the Grind My Gears podcast. It is what? It is a Friday. It's one of those weird fucking weeks in Canada where it's like snowing and raining and then it's like sunny and shit. It's fucking depressing out here, but you know what? I had the intention of bringing this thing back a long time ago, but life got in the way, and a lot of exciting things that I'm going to talk about today is kind of what's kind of going on in my life. And so the podcast took a little bit of a back burner, but it was never going to not return. And honestly, what it was is, I've just been around town the last few weeks, and some people were asking me about the podcast, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop being lazy. I'm gonna get it back going. I wanted to get it back going, um, but like I said, things that we're gonna talk about here in this episode that some exciting things in my life, some hard grinding times, and just why I took a backseat to this. But I'm excited to bring the podcast back. It's gonna be regular back now. No questions asked. We're gonna be doing. I'm gonna aim at the start to be doing every other week, but I'm gonna try to be putting out an episode every week. And the biggest thing of why I had to take a little bit of a break from filming and doing all these things is normally I'd have a guest on, and that was great. I love doing those episodes. I love talking to some people and having these great conversations. But the problem is 2023 February, I opened my first gym, and my schedule changed. Right, I used to have the guests on at mostly in the evening when more people were available, but now I'm teaching and running my business most evenings, so that availability's gone out the window, and not a lot of people are open during the day to have these conversations because they got 9 to 5s and regular jobs. So that's fine. So over the last course of the last year and a half, I've been thinking about how I was going to structure the show going forward because I can't always get guests on during the day when I'm free. Most of the time, when I'm not working with clients or doing work for the business, that's when I'm free. But to get guests on, that's not ideal. So going forward, we're gonna still have some guests once in a while. I'm not gonna be too adamant on getting them on. We're gonna do what the guy I'm gonna call the Grinds My Gears Solo series, and that's where I get feedback from some of the listeners, some of the people listening, and we touch on topics that really are a little bit different than it used to. I'm going to be quite honest. When I first started this podcast, I wanted it to be an open discussion kind of thing. Things that piss me off, things that piss people off. What happened is I started it during the height of COVID. So everything was very political. Everything was politically driven, and it was going in a direction that I didn't really enjoy, if I'm being honest. I like talking shit about politicians, which we'll get to. I'll have an episode probably up next week. We're gonna do one about the upcoming election in Canada. But you know, that's not me. That's not my specialty. My specialty is not politics. My specialty is martial arts. My specialty is health and fitness. My specialty is saying stupid shit when I want to say stupid shit. I'm not a political commentator. I'm not a political interviewer because, quite frankly, I interviewed some politicians and I just wanted to say you're full of shit right to their face, but you can't do that. Otherwise, no one's gonna want to do the show or nothing like that. So I had to reinvent what I thought the show was going to be about and the direction I wanted to do it because I want to build this. Just like I built this business, this beautiful gym that I'm sitting in, I use to record these episodes now. Um, I started in my house. Uh, I would send my family to bed and organize these podcasts. And so sometimes my family would be stuck in the room. I'd put TV on in the background to have some sort of background, and I'd set up a folding table, put the computer on it, and film the episodes like that. And now I have a place where I can just film whenever I want to and record whenever I want to, and it's a fucking blessing. So let's dive right into this. Where have I been? What am I doing? And, you know, how can what I've gone through in the last 2 years help somebody else out to have their own journey like I did? Um, so our first solo series, Grind My Gears episode, we're going to be talking about my journey into business ownership and opening up a physical location. We're going to dive into that. I'm going to try to keep it kind of short. We're going to do a little bit more specific episodes on different kind of topics of the business and running a business like this in the future. But I'm going to just kind of get into the generics of how shit happens, because quite often in life, we want to plan things. We want to plan things out. We want to write in our notebook, this is what I want to achieve this year. These are the steps I'm going to do it, yada, 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 yada. For me, that's not how it went. And I'm learning now, going through this grind and building a successful business that's doing really well. Praise Jesus, that, it's not all up to you. You can never have the perfect plan. Business, I'm going to say this, doing business is called luck. When I say luck, I don't mean like luck. I mean when preparation meets opportunity. And that's big, right? You could be preparing for something your whole life. And when the opportunity knocks, if you're not aware or smart or just savvy to the situations that you're in, you're going to miss out on the opportunities. And I thank God every day when I look and I'm sitting here recording this podcast now and telling you guys about this journey that I've been on the last 2 years, and it's going to go on for the rest of my life now. My life is set, and I'm fucking thrilled. I'm thrilled. When I think about this journey, it was luck. When I say luck, it was opportunity meeting preparation, right? And let's dive right into that, because I think some business owners or some people out there who want to start their own businesses need this. And, it's very hard to go to a big corporation and ask for a meeting and talk to somebody about it. And then there's all these different kind of podcasts, and these guys are talking about all their different businesses, but they're fucking multi-billionaires. I'm not a multi-billionaire. I'm a middle-class Canadian, and I was lower class when I started this business. And my business put me into a middle-class Canadian position. So let's dive right into that. So I just want you guys to get a good background of my background on business. So about 2018, I decided to start doing my own private training business. So it was very small, just me. I would do in-home training. I would rent space from one of my coach's gyms to rent an hour, and you pay a fee, yada yada. There's tons of that. And I started training clients in the gym and working on that fitness side. Before that, I was in a gym. I was actually working for a gym and training clients at that gym. Then around the time that the COVID nonsense started to kick in, I was kind of feeling I needed to make a transition into more broadly owning my own business and kind of doing private training with clients on my own. But, like all things, I was very hesitant. So I actually started the business, the one that I have right now, AMPT Inc., which was running everything. I started it officially back in like 2018, 2019. But I wasn't putting all my effort into it. I was just kind of like, I want to do this. And I'm thankful I did, because at that time, if I'd known what was coming with the COVID, I would not, and I didn't have those ideas in my head, man, my family would be in a different position right now. So I was able to start working with clients. And what ended up happening is like most people know, the COVID pandemic, that's another fucking episode, started to happen. And there became a need for my service. So all of a sudden I went from a service that was kind of what just widely needed in a gym atmosphere to that in-home training service was widely needed. So what I started to do was I started to do in-home training. When COVID hit, I didn't take a day off. Everyone was hiding in their houses. When I say everybody, probably not anyone listening to this, but um, people were hiding in their houses, masking up, all that kind of shit, not going outside, not seeing people, and quite frankly, I couldn't afford to do that. I just simply couldn't afford to sit back and rely on government funding to live. So I used it as an opportunity to start building a private training business, and it went really, really well for a short amount of time, but it went really, really well, and it taught me a lot. So, here's the nitty gritty of how to start yourself with that, because there's some people who are wanting to own a gym, get into gym ownership, and own a bigger business like I have now, but they don't even know where to start. And I always say start small, right? And I'm going to get into why not starting big in a bit, but start small. So I started small. I started training clients independently, going to their houses, and you can make a certain amount of money tax free before taxes kick in. So you always want to try and figure out what that is depending on where you live, location, and what country. But you want to find out what that number is and work within that number. And then if you have another employment at the same time, which I suggest, that would be your main taxable income. And then there's some other income that's you can get tax free. But you got to figure that out. But the idea was I started working that part of the business, and it was mainly very, very small, right? And the benefit of doing private training is sometimes you can get cash. There's all sorts of different things in the fitness realm that you can kind of, I wouldn't say get away with, but you can kind of use to your advantage. And I worked with these clients for pretty much the entire COVID pandemic. And what was really eye opening is what I kind of started doing during the pandemic is I was kind of starting to charge a monthly kind of fee. Like instead of selling packages, it would be like I'd come and train you X amount of times a week, provide you with online training. If lockdowns occurred again, we would shift to virtual training, all that kind of stuff. And I started selling it monthly. So I was getting a recurring monthly income. And that's what led to the gateway of how I'm running my business and successfully running my business right now. Because when you shift away from that model of selling your time, right? A lot of people value their time for money. And that is totally wrong. I started realizing that my time does not have a value. Like, there's only so many hours I can have in a day. There's only so many hours I can have in my life. And I'm not going to allow a person, a company, or an individual dictate what that value is worth. And once I came to that realization, I realized that that's what business is when you run a successful business, you're not assigning so much of value of your time for money, because time is precious, right? So the idea is, how can I get recurring revenue in and only sacrifice a certain amount of time? So knowing that, I kept training these kind of clients and starting to get that recurring revenue. It wasn't much, if I'm going to be honest with you. It was a few thousand. It was enough to feed my family and keep a roof over our head, but it wasn't excessive. It wasn't enough. And, I looked at it and I was like, well, I was making double what I was making working at a gym, which doesn't say much because we're looking at maybe 30,000, right? Um, so when I was working at the gym part time and fighting full time, you'd make about 15, 20 if you're lucky. So I make about 30. In the height of the COVID pandemic, we made about 35 doing private training. And it was a grind, it was hustle. I mean, it was fucking tiring work, but it was money in our pocket and it was feeding the family. And that's what we needed to do at the time, right? That's what I needed to do at the time because at that specific moment, fighting was not an option. I had torn my Achilles very early in, I think, 2019, and I was recovering from that, and the world was shut down. Getting older, I need money. So I started to think about things as business ownership as things started to open back up from COVID because I noticed, and this is one of the big things I need people to kind of gather from this podcast today, is you have to, when you want to get into business, when you want to get business ownership, you have to look at trends of what's going on. So I noticed every time I went to the gym after the lockdowns, when they kind of said, "Oh, this is the last lockdown," yo, these gyms are fucking busy right now. There are tons of people in this gym. I'm like, yo, why are there so many people in the gym? They're not afraid of this COVID nonsense anymore and all that. And what I realized was that whole situation with the 3 or 4 years of the lockdowns and the government overreach and the stay in your homes and get these things and telling you what to do and sit at home, not in school, not going to work, not seeing people, all that stuff had led to this revolution. I call it in the fitness industry. It's a revolution because the fitness industry was one of the ones that was demonized. We were, if we're open, the plague will spread. But what ended up happening was I was in the gym and I'm noticing, all these new people are coming because people were looking for a sense of community. They were looking to work out. They were tired of being home. They wanted to meet people. They wanted to learn new skills. They wanted to be around other people, right? And the unfortunate part of that situation was that some gyms didn't survive. The ones that were, victims of circumstance, I would say, they just it is what it is, the victim of circumstance. And then there was plenty others who I'll flat out say were just poorly run businesses and they didn't survive, right? COVID was really the testing measure for a lot of fitness industry professionals to see how well run of a business do you have. And can you sustain something like this? Because if you can sustain something like that, you could probably, you're good, right? Regardless of if you have downturns, up, down, clients leave, clients come in, you have slow seasons, etc., etc. Those are normal things, but COVID was not a normal thing. So if you survived it, you came out on top, you're fucking laughing now, right? So I noticed that trend in people where they didn't want to do the in-home kind of shit anymore. They wanted to be around people. And so I went to my wife one day and I'm like, I started losing some clients, right? I said to her that, we're going to have to make a drastic change soon because I'm noticing this trend. The gyms are fantastically busy. People are getting out. This is not going to work. Like my business model right now is not going to work anymore. We're going to end up being broke if we continue down this path. So I'll tell you the story. I have this really great, I don't like to say client, but I have been training him for so long. He's not a client. I train his wife and his family, and his son is one one of my students here at the academy now. And so I had this friend that I was training one day, and he runs a totally separate business, but he's a great businessman, and he decided to get into real estate during the pandemic so that he can, manage his real estate investments himself, save himself some money. And I think he was bored of the other stuff he was doing, so it made sense for him. And so I'm training him one day, and I playfully, and I joke around. I'm not even like fucking serious. I'm just like, well, you know what? Now that you're in the game, if you find a commercial spot for me, let me know. And I thought nothing of it. I was just talking shit. I had no intention of doing that. I was just still like in that phase of realizing that we're about to lose a lot of money, and what's the next step and the next plan for employment for myself. And am I going to still be self-employed? Am I still going to try to grind it out in that private training kind of sector of the fitness industry, or would I graduate to something else, or would I go back to working for somebody? I wasn't sure yet. And then lo and behold, he messages me. He found a place. I was like, fuck, okay. Well, I was joking around. Like, I didn't say that to him. I was like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to open a place. I was just joking around. And ironically, the place that he had sent me the listing for, I had dabbled around looking that past September anyway. I saw it was still on the market. So it was on the market for quite a while. And the unit was not being occupied for quite a while. And so I actually had seen it before. But I just, you don't act. You just see it. You're like, oh, yeah, cool. I can't afford that. Yeah, that's fine. So he set up the showing. We came. We saw it. And I fell in love with it right away. That was it, man. That was it. There's certain things in life you can't explain. And one of them is luck. Is luck. And I also call that's God's plan. Like, I walked into it, didn't look like this. It didn't look like the gym that I've built now. It looked completely different. It was dirty. It was gross. The lobby was disgusting. There were guys shit everywhere. There were bags. There weren't fucking these nice photos and fight posters of, have fight posters of my fighters up on the wall. There wasn't, lost and found. There wasn't a fridge for Gatorade. There wasn't a nice desk here where the staff could sit. There wasn't a fucking workout area over there. There wasn't all that beautiful gym space there. I'm looking out straight right now. I can see the decals on the windows outside. There wasn't any of that. It was just a barren wasteland. It was just a space. And sometimes in life, when an opportunity, or I wouldn't say an opportunity, when a situation comes up, something just happens. I call it God speaking to me, and that's what it was. I came in here and I looked at the place, and I was like, holy shit. I didn't know anything. I didn't run the economics. I didn't see the economics of the area yet. I didn't see if it had good street presence. I didn't see any of that shit, bro. I just came in here and saw the dream. I saw the dream come into reality. And the idea of owning my own place was right in front of me. And I was still very hesitant, to be honest with you. I was still very hesitant. And so here's how that broke down. Came in, saw the place. I was like, okay. I was still very skeptical. So he told me I had until the end of January. So that was like January 10th, 11th. And so he told me I had till the end of January to basically respond. So I said, okay, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. And about a day and a half later, he went. My friend went to Mexico to have a little vacation with his family. Calls me. The fuck you calling me for, man? You're on vacation, dude. Someone else wants a unit. thought this would happen, but they don't want the landlord doesn't want to renovate the space because it's going to cost them a lot of money. They want it for retail. It's already designated for the gym. It's yours if you want it, but we got to act fast. And so I said, okay. I went and talked to my wife, and I couldn't make a decision without her, but the decision was made in my head, and she knew it, right? So we basically agreed to it without her seeing it, because the way when you find something you love, and your partner should know this, and that's how you know it's the right person for you, and the one that God truly intended for you to be with. When you are speaking about something so passionately that they can hear it in your voice. She heard it in my voice that this is something I wanted to do. And the having somebody in your life, a wife, a spouse, a business partner, a friend who just knows that you want something so bad and they're just willing to just go on board with it regardless of the financial repercussions to themselves. Man, so much things could have gone wrong for me and my wife investing in this gym. We didn't have any money to do it, to be honest with you. We didn't have any money. We had to borrow money to get it off the ground because we simply didn't have money. I told you at the start of this podcast, my entire pro fight career, I was fucking working sometimes less than part-time hours and and all the money was going towards paying for extra training sessions with coaches, all that kind of stuff, and memberships and gym fees, all that kind of stuff. That's where all the money was going to. The money wasn't going to us and to savings. Anything my wife made was paying the bills, and we were living very paycheck to paycheck. I remember one day, in our apartment, we went to Costco to buy the portable air conditioner. It was like 200 something bucks on sale. And we're like, okay, we can't spend money for like 3 months, babe. That's where we were, right? That's where we were. And so we didn't have the money, but my wife jumped on board right away. She came in, saw the space, and my friend who got us the space said something very, very motivational to me. He doesn't really know it to this day, but he's been doing business for a long time, and when it boils down to it, I don't want to get into the figures, right? But when it boils down to it, he was just like, man, if you can't make $5,000 a month in revenue, you don't deserve to be in business. And that fucking opened up my eyes, because the whole time I'm thinking I'm a businessman. I'm this businessman. I've started my own business. I'm a businessman. And he said that, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing that right now. But fuck you. I'm going to do that. I deserve to be in business. It was one of the most motivating things ever. I don't think he realized that motivated me as much as it did. But I was like, man, I'm not doing that now, but I'm going to do 10 times that. I'm going to do 20 times that. I'm going to do 50 times that. Fuck you. Right? I deserve to be in this realm. I deserve to be in business. I deserve to be a business owner. And I deserve to be successful. And I'm going to fucking show you. And I wasn't a disrespect towards him. He didn't say anything disrespectful towards me, but that one sentence he said motivated me. And so when my wife came in, we saw the spot, fell in love immediately, secured the finances to get it done, secured the loan, and now we're in a position where we're renovating a gym and we have no fucking clue what to do. We had no plans. When we came and started the renovations, we didn't have the name. No name. No flock MMA, nothing like that. No software to collect memberships, no students, no fucking nothing. No bags, no nothing. Nothing. No knowledge of how to. I'm a fucking martial artist. I don't know how to tear down walls and shit. None of that. So we came in with just open mind, open heart. First day, there used to be this other guy running a Mickey Mouse operation here, and that's why we got such a great deal, right? And The other part about what I want to talk about is when you wanted to start a business, everybody wants to start with a big thing and they want to force it. And I always go back to this luck, opportunity, and timing. The unit that we are in right now was not being rented out by anybody for about 5 to 6 years. So about 5 to 6 years, the management of this building were subletting to people that were paying them hourly, etc., just to get a little bit of revenue, but nobody would take the spot. So we ended up getting a fantastic deal because I wouldn't say they were desperate, but they wanted someone to come in. They wanted someone to come in that was going to take the space and make it better and add value back to their property. And they wanted someone that was serious. And nobody was willing to take it on, right? And so we negotiated a great deal. Actually, there wasn't much negotiation. It was pretty good to come in, and we made a few tweaks, and that was it. And that was it. The thing I want to tell is people who are opening or planning to open up their own business, regardless of what it is always start small and look for opportunities. There might not be the thing that you wanted to do at the start, but it's going to be the right thing in the long run. This gym right here that I have right now is everything I could have wanted, but it's not my dream yet. It's not. But it's the current dream that fits what I need. What I needed was to get going and to start this thing and to start my journey into this realm of operating this physical business, generating wealth for my family, and putting my family first for once instead of me, and having a business that they could call home and other people can call home. Is it my ideal gym? No. I want the fucking big thing. But the big thing doesn't come right away. And that's the one thing I've learned about being in martial arts and in gym ownership is that a lot of people want the big thing right away, so they get investors because they want to go big right away. And then what ends up happening is they get bad investors. Friends always like to fuck each other. So it starts off as a friendship, but then when money's being made, it ends up being sour. And it seems good for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then 10 years down the road, things change. Our intention is always to be family owned, family operated. Nobody's going to be in it. So when I made the commitment, it was going to be me and it was going to be me only. And when you do that, you have to think about it financially smart, right? There's 2 windows of thought on how to deal with martial arts businesses and just gyms in general. You could go big, have investors, and spend the right amount of money on marketing and get it done. There's no question about it. The problem is you don't own the whole thing. You have to ask people for permission to do shit. And it's never very simply put as, hey, I want to do that. I'm going to go fucking do it. No, you have to talk to people, make sure it's okay. Make sure everyone's on board. Make sure everyone's okay with the amount of money you're about to spend doing that. I don't want to deal with that. As people who know me, no, I don't like to ask permission for shit. I fucking hate the government. I hate authorities. I hate listening to people. I can't be bossed around. I don't want to ask you for shit. My wife is the only person I consult with, and I still do shit without her. I consult. I say, is this a good idea? She says yes. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Right? Is this a good idea? Nope. Fuck it, I still want to do it. That's how it is. I don't like to listen to people. So being in a business partnership with somebody with this, not some other businesses I want to start up and run. Being this, I can't do it. I have to do it my own. So there's 2 schools of thought: go big, get investors, it can still work. The thing that you need to realize is when you're opening a business, is when you go small, when you have low overhead and low costs, the chances that you get better return are incredibly higher, right? I have a very good deal in terms of my fixed expenses. I can cover my fixed expenses rather easily. We covered our fixed expenses within the first 5 months of operation. After that, everything was profit because we went small. We went small and we invested our money into marketing. We made sure that we were in a great location, right? We were in a great spot. There was a need in this community for what we were doing. And to top it off, our overhead costs, our startup costs were incredibly low because we found a place that was unoccupied for a long time. So one of the greatest deals that we got was there used to be an old martial arts place here, and they left their mats. So I didn't have to go out and buy all these different startup costs. All the equipment I started off with, the bags and everything, I bought secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. All the weights for the gym, secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. The renovation costs, we had a big wall we had to take down. I had a friend, licensed electrician, help me take it down. We didn't even order the disposable bin. We got fucking garbage bags and got rid of that shit. Right? We cut costs so much to make sure that we are in a good position. So when we opened on day one, other than the loan we took, we didn't owe much more money. And we didn't even use the full loan. We didn't even use the full loan to renovate the space. We had extra. So the whole entire thing was we're going to do all the work. We're going to get this place going for as low as we can. And then we're going to use that money, get the place all ready, and there's going to be leftovers so that we have money in case this doesn't fucking work out and we have to pay a couple months of the rent. We still have some money left. And lo and behold, things did work out, and we didn't have to kill ourselves. But that's the two schools of thought. Go big, get investors. You can still do it, but it's going to be hectic. Or go small, find a great deal, lower your startup costs, and you'll end up seeing a huge explosion of, after-tax revenue that's going to be really beneficial for you. And that's always going to be my advice to anybody who's looking to start up their own place, right? When I look at the blueprint of how well we did and why I'm doing well now and all that kind of stuff, it's because we started small. If I had started big, I don't think I'd be having this podcast right now and doing this podcast. I'd be stressed out because I'd be like, fuck, I need bills to pay. Instead, I'm in a different kind of position where I'm looking to lessen my workload now so that I can spend more time here, right? And more time doing the things I love to do. And that's the beauty of business ownership, is it comes with the ups, downs, and lots of work, and it's just crazy. So going back to what, the startup of this thing of my gym is, we renovated the place. It was a fucking nightmare. So I was still doing my private training sessions, waking up early. I had 6 and 7 a.m. clients. I'd go do them. I'd come here, do renovations, drive back, do clients. I was still doing clients all the way out in Pickering, which, depending on who's listening to this, Pickering is about, in traffic, sometimes an hour drive. Without traffic, at least 35, 40 minutes. So I would go do clients out there, drive back, work in the night. We were here for, we wanted to get it done in a month. It took us 6 weeks to do all the renovations to get this place ready to the point we were ready to open. Obviously, after we opened, there were still upgrades we made over time as money came in and we generated some money to do those kind of things. But to get the place where we go, it took about 6 weeks. 6 weeks. No name, no plans, no structure, no nothing. None of that. 6 weeks. I was doing dishes one day and came up with the name of the flock. And that's how the name came. I'm the dirty bird. This is the flock, baby. And it's amazing how God works, because I had no intention of this, no plans, no nothing, like I said. The name came to me while I was doing dishes. One of my coaches used a software or was transitioning to a software. So I said, okay, let me use that software. And here's one of the things, the best piece of advice I can give to somebody who's looking to start up their own business and to start their own journey, whether it be in a gym or consulting, whatever the fuck business you do, doesn't fucking matter. Ask questions, right? If you have good people around you, ask questions. If those people aren't willing to help you, then fuck them. They were never your friends in the first place. I was able to go and talk to and this is why I love martial arts and I'm never going to leave it. I was able to go and talk to so many different school owners. My head coach, my head MMA coach, who moved out of Canada, was a big thing. We sat on calls for like an hour at a time sometimes, and him giving me advice on how to structure things and what to do. I was just asking questions. From here's the thing: unless you're fucking Warren Buffett, you don't know shit about business. It's hard to say. That's a tough pill to swallow for some people who are doing well. I don't care how much million you're making. If you're not Warren Buffett, you don't know shit. So stop being an arrogant fucking asshole and ask questions. Find people who are better than you or who are doing better than you, who have done it and who are willing to share their knowledge and talk to them. To this day, I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine. I'm here talking shit on a fucking microphone. What time are we at? It's like at 12:48 in the fucking afternoon on a Friday. Some people are hating their lives at work right now. I'm fucking sitting here talking to you because I ask questions. I talk to people who are more successful than me, and I see what they're doing, and I see how can I replicate that? Can I make that into my business? Can I incorporate that? Can I do that? And I look at their systems and I say, okay, I like what you're doing. I like the blueprint, but I'm gonna tweak it a little bit to make it work better for me and my family and my wife and my business. And then some things I listen to and I'm like, fuck. Okay, that sounds dumb and a nightmare, but I'll do it for the sake. I'll give you a good example. We did a friends and family day, kids friends and family day. I think we did it last year. And this was advice that someone gave me, have a free day, do a free thing for the kids. And so, fuck, we did it. I spent so much money on it. I bought cake, bought all these Nerf guns, advertising. Oh, not one fucking sign up, not one membership. It was a fucking nightmare. The amount of effort that we put into that little thing, and it was a room full of people, but a room full of kids, not one. And so there's gonna be things that work, there's gonna be things that don't work, that you get advice on, and it is what it is, right? So that's the one biggest thing, advice I gotta have: ask questions for people who have done it, because if you haven't done it, you're trying to do it, you're trying to just figure it out by looking at YouTube videos and shit, it's not gonna work. Call people, ask them if they're willing to help you. Chances are they're your friend, and that's somebody you should keep around in your life. If they're not willing to help you, fuck them. Martial arts community is very, very cool in the sense that we want to see each other succeed. I don't really want to see other gyms fail. I don't want to see other business owners fail at all. So I try to help the best I can, whenever I can, with the information that I have now. But I like about 3 months ago, I had called one of my. I didn't even train under him. He was a business partner with my Muay Thai coach. I called him. He has a really successful gym. We had been talking one night because one of my fighters was fighting on a card with his fighters, and we were just sitting there in the backstage, and it was a long card. It was a long night, so we were talking. We talked about business a little bit. I called him. We sat on the phone for about half an hour, and he gave me good advice on things I should do. He went through our gym's page, told us, change this, do this, here's something you should aim for, do these kind of things. And I fucking did it. And it worked, right? The thing is you have to ask those questions. Find others who have done it, use them as an example. Take things that work for you, because there's things they're going to recommend to you that maybe you just can't afford at the time, right? There's things you're going to be like, fuck, I can't afford that. I can't throw out that much money on marketing right now. There's things they're going to say that are going to work for you. The things they're going to say that aren't. One of the things that didn't work for me was that fucking friends and family day. Fuck me, I'm never doing that again, right? But it worked for someone else because maybe that was indicative of their location, the city that they're in, the area that they're in. Those kind of things work. It didn't work for us. Doesn't mean I don't try it. I tried it once, it didn't work. Not going to do it again, right? just like another thing, flat out in terms of just helping us bring people in, Google is number one. For most businesses, Google is number one. So what are you going to do? Just do Google? No, that's kind of stupid. Referrals are great. Google's also great. We found a company that in this area who does postcards. And it's tremendous good value. They print and distribute the postcards to the postal codes for a very reasonable cost. Now, the return on them is very minimal. Very minimal. We actually did a campaign in February where I sent it out. It cost us maybe $1,500, which is to some businesses a lot of money. Cost us $1,500. We did a mail out campaign. Not one fucking hit. You want to know why? It wasn't because the campaign wasn't a success. We had done the same postcard mail outs with this company before, and it was a success. You want to know what happened? When they did the delivery, there was a massive snowstorm in Toronto, 15 plus centimeters. Those things are all about emotion and time sensitivity. When you pick up that postcard, you look at it, you're able to walk, go check it out, drive there. Picked it up, looked at it, might have been interested, but guess what? There's fucking 25 centimeters of snow on the floor. Nobody ain't doing shit for a week and a half. We lost out big on that. Does that mean I'm never going to do that again? No, I'm going to do those campaigns again. It was timing and opportunity wasn't there. Bad luck. Good luck to get this place going. Bad luck for some marketing. It is what it is. That's business, right? So getting back to how we getting this place off the ground, it was just night after night of grinding. The first night I was here on my own, it was just dead quiet. At that time we had maybe one member, right? And I sat here some nights thinking, holy fuck, did I just kill my family? Plunging them into financial turmoil. Nobody's here. And, one of my coaches said to me, hey man, that's going to happen. You just started. You're growing. It's not like you had a whole bunch of students coming in with you from another place. This is just now. This is just you starting. So whether you have one person on the mat or 50, teach everyone like it's your last fucking class, bro. Teach every class like it's your last class. Teach that one person the best you can fucking teach them, whether it be 1 or 50. And that's what I did. And slowly, people started coming. People started joining. And we get to the end 2023. That was our first official year, not the first whole calendar year of us being in business. End of 2023, we have a business. We're making money. The bills are being paid. We're in a slight profit, not a big one, slight. I have something here. So I'm about 8 months in this thing, and I'm like, I have something here. My bills are being paid. I'm not stressed out. That was the biggest thing. I'm stressed out from running the business. I'm not stressed out about the finances. And that's a huge win for a business owner when you're not stressed out about the finances. And it was because I asked questions. We put in the right systems. We put them in play. And we did it fast. Sometimes I had this, like when we started, we had a whole bunch of different memberships and all that kind of shit. And I got advice to stop fucking doing some of them. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm going to slowly phase it out. It was like, no, I got rid of it. It wasn't working. It was a detriment to our business. We got rid of it. We got rid of what wasn't working and we worked on stuff that did work. I asked questions constantly. That first year of operation, I was constantly asking questions to people. I was constantly searching, right? And that's why. So we get into the 8 months now. We're in December 2023. I opened up April 1st, took possession of this unit February 15th. I remember these dates. I won't forget them. February 15th, 2023, I took possession of the unit. April 1st, I opened it. So I did the renos between February 15th to April 1st, 2023. Opened between April 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. I was making profit. Not a lot, but making profit. After tax, making profit. Okay? Huge. Huge, huge, huge. Some people don't even get to that break-even point in a long time. And that's why I said earlier on in this episode, make sure when you start a business like this, you make sure you scale it properly to something you can afford. I made sure that the rent that we're paying, I could hit that target within a certain amount of time frame. If I can't hit that rent, if it's like 10, 20 G's rent, fuck no. You overscale too fast. If you don't have investors that are money bags, Scrooge McDucks, you're fucked. And if they're not willing to help you out through thick and thin, you are fucked. So I made sure that I took a rent on and an expense on that I could manage and that I could build to a certain point. And I did it in 8 months. And it's not me bragging. This is a smart thing to do. It's in 8 months. January 2024 rolls around. Guess what? Now our business is being known. People are talking about us a little bit in the community because we did a good job in the first year serving our members and serving our students and developing them. We got some into some competitions. We got some that even won some jiu-jitsu provincial titles. Okay. We're doing something good. And then it just blew up. And it blew up because of a few factors. And I don't want to do too much more of this podcast because we're going to do more in depth of how I've done some systems and how I've built this place and how I'm going to continue to build this place and how I can help other people build their places. But what it really boils down to is the systems you put in place and the way you treat your students and your customers. And from day one, when I started this place, I'm going to end the podcast off on this note because I've been doing this 50 minutes now. It's enough for me. I want to go work out and get the rest of my day done. But when I started this business, wanting to teach jiu-jitsu, wanted to teach mixed martial arts, wanted to teach Muay Thai. When I came up in martial arts, the thing that was preached to me was honor, integrity, and respect. Respect for your instructors, respect for your peers, respect for your facility, respect for the art. That's what was preached to me, and that's who I am. So any place that I operate, it's got to be the same, right? I don't treat people like they're clients. I think there's this big thing going around in martial arts right now where you're not a client, you're a student. You're my student. My job and the title that I hold in jiu-jitsu is professor as a black belt means that my job is to teach you those things that I learned that made me love this art as much as it does. Right? And that's honor, integrity, respect. Right? So like some of my guys don't even realize it because this is all they've been into, but we're a traditional martial arts school. You know, I'm not going to tell you you're doing great when you're not doing great. I'm not going to tell you you are doing or saying good things and respectful things when you're not saying respectful things. I'm guilty of it too, and I get humbled by my wife and by my coaches all the time still. This was always going to be a place built off of yes, professor, no professor, yes, coach, no coach. I have a code of conduct on the wall. You know, there's no politics in my gym. And when I say no politics, you're not talking shit about another person here to other people. It's not happening. You are coming in here and you're treating everybody, whether they're a kid, parent, or coach, with the utmost respect. You're not doing all that bullshit that is going on around in the jiu-jitsu and the Muay Thai communities now. That's not happening. You pick up after yourself when you come here. And, you know, we do our part, obviously. But we, as a business, we do our part to make sure everything is clean and whatever. But you pick up after yourself, and when someone's not picking up after themselves, we hold them accountable. We clean. Everyone helps cleaning. Like, we clean. Me and my wife clean this place spick and span personally all the time. But we clean together. It's part of it. And what I've noticed now, and I can't say the same for other places because I've been around other places, and I can't say the same. But what I notice now, some of my OGs, some of the ones that have been here from day one with us, and we have new students coming in all the time, is some of my older students who are around these traditions and these customs of respect, honor, integrity. Hey man, don't do that. No, put your equipment back. Spray those things down. Make sure you do these things. Like they're helping others learn how to treat others in the martial arts better, right? They're teaching hey, at the end of class, we line up and we bow to each other and we shake each other's hand. Hey, we don't do those things. We don't do heel hooks and leg locks. We don't do those things. We treat each other with respect and kindness. Hey, you just left that thing over there. No, pick that up. That's a sign of disrespect to your peers. Don't mistreat the equipment like that, because if you break it, then we don't have it to use, right? I'm noticing my old students are doing that to my newer students, and it's a fucking great thing to see, because that's the kind of place I want to be in, right? And that's why we've done so well. Is because it's not the good life of martial arts that's happening right now. It's the old school martial arts that's happening right now here in Leaside, here at the Flock. We are an old school martial arts academy where you come to be a better person. You come to uplift the people around you. You treat everybody here as a fucking equal, because you are not special, myself included. You are not invincible, myself included. You can be beat. You better tap when you need to tap. You better not overspar and hit somebody too hard, because when you do, you're going to get hit back. You're going to get hands put back on you. And so in our academy, we treat everybody that same way, where if we want to go 100%, you sign up for a competition. That's how it goes. Otherwise, you treat everyone with respect, because we have people here who are doctors, lawyers, plumbers, all different fucking avenues. They got to go to work the next day. They got to provide for their family. If you're trying to knock their fucking block off and break their arm, that's not martial arts, right? If you want to compete, you want to be a competitor, yeah, we got guys that compete, and we have them knock each other's blocks off and fight and get ready for competition. If you want to compete, that's what competition's for. If you want to learn in a safe, fun environment, that's what it's here for. That's what the Flock is, right? And so that's why we've done well, because I've set that standard in terms of the behavior. And there's other things that we're going to get into in future episodes, but yeah. And I just wanted to say that, and and hey man, so let me just wrap it up right there, okay? We're going to do another episode. I'm going to do multiple episodes on different aspects of how we built the place, different aspects of business, the marketing, how I structure programs, how I build up different programs. I'm going to do different episodes on that to help others who are going through that journey to be able to start their own. But there's just too much information to pack into one. But this was the first Grind My Gears solo series. I hope I kept you through listening for the whole time. I know it was a lot of different things about my life going on. That's not necessarily the most exciting episode, but it's great to be back. It's great to be able to do this again. I'm looking forward to continue doing the Grind My Gears solo series. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to be able to release a lot more different things based on my specialties, which is the crazy part. I have a lot of different specialties I haven't even been able to share yet, and I'm excited to be able to do that. So this was just the beginning of something great. I built one business. I'm building another. Grind My Gears is going to be the other, and there's going to be more businesses to come. This is just the beginning for me. So I thank you for joining me. I'll look forward to continue doing this. We're gonna stay tuned. I think next week I'm gonna do an election one because the election's coming up, and I mean, as I said earlier, I fucking hate politics, but I think it needs to be done. And yeah, thank you for listening. Peace out.